Hey guys, it's Destiny, and today we're going to be showcasing Yunli and Honkai Star Rail. And before we get into today's video, let me know which Honkai Star Rail character is your favorite. Mine personally is Black Swan. Lastly, if you guys enjoy videos like these, do make sure to subscribe to win your next 50/50 and also hit the like button to support the video. Now, let's get straight into it. So today we are going to be using Tingyun, Yunli, Robin, and Huohuo, and I think Yunli, she just killed the Firefly. Well, I guess she's letting Kafka know what's coming to her very soon because Kafka is going to be on our wanted list for today. I love how almost every showcase we switch who is on the wanted list, and now let's just freaking hit her with this big sword. I love Yunli's sword. It's so freaking cool. And it's cool how she can freaking hold that thing. I don't know how she does it, but she's able to do it with ease from what it looks like. So we're going to start off with this buffing up Yunli. And the reason that I actually use Tingyun's ultimate on Robin is so that Robin can get her ultimate right away. And we're going to be taking advantage of this very shortly so that we can continuously buff our team. So there we go. And then with Tingyun, we're just going to basic attack. And now it's time for Robin to come in. She's going to be giving us even more buffs. With Yunli, skill, throw that big sword at them. And now it's Tingyun, basic, and we actually have enough energy for another ultimate. So we're just gonna give that to Yunli right here. And she almost has full energy for 2 ultimates, and we can see all these freaking buffs. Holy. So now with Huohuo, we're gonna basic attack, and with Yunli, I'm going to use her ultimate, and then Huohuo's right after. And this will actually allow Yunli to have 2 ultimates, and what we're gonna do is actually use 2 ultimates back to back and deal a crap ton of damage. We're in our parry stance, and bam! They're both just dead. So now with Tingyun, we could just basic attack this lady right here, and then they're gonna attack us, which is perfectly fine. With Yunli, we're gonna go right back into that parry stance. So bam! And we have another ultimate, so let's use it. Okay. So we unfortunately did get hit with that lady's thing where we get basically stunned, but it's fine, honestly. What we could do now is use our skill just to get more energy. For Huohuo, there we go. Use our skill again. For Robin, we're going to use our skill. And now with Tingyun, I'm going to use her ultimate. And this will actually put Huohuo above the lady right here, which is perfectly fine. And I'm going to use Yunli's ultimate like this. And we are going to hit this lady with our parry stance and get her out of here.
You are done.
And now with Kafka, we're gonna throw our sword. And now we have another freaking ultimate. Kafka does not know what's coming to her. Bam! Oh my gosh, I freaking love her sword. She does so much freaking damage. Now what we're gonna do is, let's see who's coming up. What we could do is, honestly, we can use our skill. I'm feeling the skill, and then we can use Robin's ultimate. So there we go. We're gonna start singing and then advance everyone forward. And now what we could do is just use Huohuo's basic with Tingyun. We could do that. Oh no, I didn't have enough energy. Surely this kills. No! It didn't kill. But honestly, I feel like if we just did we should have just did 2 basic attacks. We literally would have gotten the 0 cycle, but it's definitely possible. You know what? We're just gonna do the run back super quick, but we're gonna do the run back at the end so you guys can see that we definitely can get the 0 cycle with the same game plan in mind with who does their skills and the ultimates and all that stuff. So let's real quick, after that run back, go over the builds now. But first we have Yunli herself, which she has a bunch of crit rate and a bunch of crit damage. The crit damage can honestly be lower, but the reason why I have so much crit rate is so that when she does attack enemies, especially with her enhanced counter from her ultimate, you'll definitely want to make sure that she crits as much as possible to take advantage of how many times the enemies will get hit, which we'll go over her ultimate very shortly, but here are the rest of the stats. For her light cone, she does have her signature light cone, which this option is honestly just really great for her. It'll increase her chances of getting attacked, which is great, so she's able to regenerate more energy, but also be able to attack enemies more frequently. It'll also increase her crit damage, and she'll also be able to increase her follow-up damage as well. So this light cone is awesome, but if you don't plan to pull for this, no problem. You can use a blade signature light cone if you do have that one. If you don't though, you can use an option like on the fall of an Aeon, under the blue sky, and so on. When it comes to her traces, they are maxed out. For her relics, she is using the Wind Soaring set and Inert Salcedo. I personally just really like Inert Salcedo just because of the ultimate and follow-up attack increase and also that crit rate. And the reason why is because her ultimate will actually be considered ultimate damage. Plus, because of the fact that she is still unleashing a counter attack, it will also in a sense be considered follow-up damage as well. So she will be able to heavily benefit from that set. And then for her Eidolon, she is completely E0. I've not activated any of these Eidolons here. And then real quick for me to explain her ultimate, the reason why you want a bunch of crit rate is because you want to take advantage of Intuit Cull as much as possible. Intuit Cull is basically when she does get hit by an enemy, her enhanced counter attack, which she'll have this after using her ultimate. She's going to be able to deal physical damage to an enemy and adjacents, but she'll also be able to deal 6 instances of damage on a random single enemy. And this is where a bunch of her damage comes in, because this will definitely stack up and allow her to get those big numbers as we were seeing, which was at 300, 4,000, 500 to 5,000. Oh my god, 300, 400,000 damage. And another thing that's really cool about her is that let's say you have a bunch of energy, but the enemy isn't close to attacking you. If you use Intuit Slash instead, which is still an enhanced version of her counter, but it will not have the additional 6 instances of damage, the following enhanced counter you do unleash onto an enemy will be that Intuit Cull version, which is the enhanced version. So in a sense, there's multiple ways to go about playing her, but what you will want to keep in mind when you play her is that she will gain a parry and taunt all enemies, and this will last until the end of the next ally or enemy's turn. So let's say an enemy is about to come up, you'll want to use her ultimate before they actually attack. So then when they do attack her and she's taunting them, now she's going to be able to unleash Intuit Cull onto that enemy, and that's where you'll see her dealing a bunch of damage onto enemies that she is fighting. Plus, she's also going to get a bunch of crit damage as well, which is pretty huge for allowing you to focus way more on her crit rate versus heavily having to focus on that crit damage stat. Now you can focus trying to get as close to 100% crit rate as possible, just to ensure that all your attacks will be a critical hit. And yeah, honestly, the rest of her skill kit is pretty nice as well. It just allows her to deal a good amount of damage and just set her up for those really powerful counter attacks. For the rest of the team, we have Robin. Here are her stats real quick. For Robin, she is holding her signature light cone, but if you don't want to use this one, you can use her free-to-play light cone option. This is really good on her. An alternative that is a 3-star option is actually Meshing Cogs. Meshing Cogs is nice because Robin will be able to get more energy when she's hit, and if she does do a basic attack here and there, that'll also contribute to her energy, as Robin does have a pretty hefty ultimate cost. You want to get her as much energy as possible. For her traces, they are maxed out. For her relics, 2-piece Musketeer, 2-piece Messenger, and then Spritly Von Wack. Spritly Von Wack is nice for the additional energy, as well as allowing her to be advanced forward even further at the beginning of a fight, which now allows her, and also Tingyun, since they are both wearing this, to be able to take advantage of being able to act very quickly at the beginning of the fight in order to start getting those buffs ready for Yunli to unleash a bunch of damage. Also for Robin to be able to advance forward the team right at the beginning of the fight, so we get a bunch of turns. This is more so though if you want to go more of a 0 cycle route, then I would recommend Spritly Von Wack. But if you're not really trying to go for that 1 cycle, 2 cycle, 3 cycles fine by you, then I would just maybe go for Broken Keel. You can go for Fleet of the Ageless. You could just go for a more supportive set overall. For Eidolon, she is E0. I have not activated any of them. Now we have Huohuo. Huohuo has 141 speed, and here are the rest of her stats. She is holding the free-to-play light cone Quid Pro Quo, and this is really nice because this will regenerate 16 energy for a randomly chosen ally whose energy is lower than 50%. This is really good because this will help with getting Robin and Yunli their ultimates, as Yunli is able to hold up to 240 energy, while Robin has an energy cost of 160. So this is just very beneficial for helping them get their ultimates sooner, especially if you are trying to use their ultimates more frequently. Other alternative options can be Shared Feeling. You can also use, if if you do have the Lycone Knight of the Fright. And overall, when it comes to abundance Lycones, there's definitely a bunch of options you can go with, and quid pro quo is just a nice free-to-play option that you can use. For the relics, we are using Passerby and Broken Keel. For Eidolons, she is also completely E0. I have not activated any of them. And lastly, we have Tingyun. Tingyun has a bunch of speed. The speed is honestly a little overkill. This Tingyun is no longer a Foxian. At this point, I feel like she's literally Tingyun the Hedgehog. She has a good amount of attack, a bunch of speed, and here's the rest of her stats. For her Lycone, she is holding Dance Dance Dance. Alternatives can be options like Meshing Cogs. You could go with Memories of the Past. You could do Carve the Moon, Weave the Clouds, and much more. But personally, I really like Dance 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 the most on Tingyun because she'll be able to advance the whole team forward after using her ultimate, which increases her utility even further. For traces, she is maxed out. For her relic, she's running the Eagle Twilight Line set as well as Sprightly Von Whack. Sprightly Von Whack is being ran here just so she is able to act very quickly at the start of a fight, and this is primarily just for that 0 cycle purpose. And then as for Eagle Twilight Line, this is a really nice set to honestly use on some of your supportive characters, since after they use their ultimate, they will be advanced forward, which now results in them being able to attack sooner, or at least be able to even use a skill sooner, and that can allow them to actually get their ultimate faster in a sense, since they will be acting sooner. And this will actually allow them to get their ultimate more frequently. So in Tingyun's case, I really like this because getting her ultimate is very beneficial, not just for the damage buffs that she will be able to give in the energy, but also Dance 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 triggering is really good as well. So that's why I just want to get Tingyun her ultimate as frequently as possible. And as we saw from when I did play this team just now in Memory of Chaos, we were able to get her ultimate really frequent, which is really good for being able to ensure that Yunli here has a bunch of energy so that she can use her ultimate very often and just literally unleash her huge sword onto those enemies and kick their butt. You don't have to do this relic set though at all, like this combination. Instead, what you can do is you could go with some messenger pieces. You can go with Musketeer. For your 2-piece, you can go with Fleet of the Ageless, Broken Keel. Once again, those supportive sets are really good. This combination is way more overkill if you really want to try, I guess, for those 0 cycles, but I feel like you could honestly probably still get a 0 even if it's not this precise setup. But regardless, this definitely helps out if you are trying to aim for that really low cycle clear. Otherwise, the other options I gave are perfectly fine. Your goal will just be getting a good amount of attack on her and of course a good amount of speed. Even if you are using rainbow pieces where none of the pieces are matching, as long as you get a good amount of speed and attack on Tingyun, you will be good to go. I personally recommend 160 or above speed, and then for her attack, I would go for 24 to 2600 or more if possible. So that's what I would recommend for our Foxian here. And then for Eidolons, E6, as we can see, she's the only E6 character as she is a 4-star. And for Yunli herself, honestly, she may be tiny and really fun size, but she can freaking kick enemies' butts. She is very strong, especially when you line up the buffs of all the allies on your team. For example, Robin's ultimate, Robin's skill, and then when you also have Tingyun's skill active on Yunli here, as well as Tingyun's ultimate, it just gives her so many buffs that just amplify her damage even further. And she's really impressed me with how much damage she's able to do. I do think if you are lacking DPS characters, this is a great pickup overall. But if you do have a bunch of DPS characters on your account already, let's say you already have Akira on Firefly, whatever it may be, then you don't really need Yunli here, but she's still super cute and super fun to play. So I personally will be pulling her just because of how adorable she is, and also just how strong she is, especially against those physical weak enemies. And when you really take advantage of parrying enemies at the right time so that they attack you, and even when you do back-to-back ultimates, that can just unleash so much freaking damage. But yeah, I'd love to know, what do you guys think about her? I feel like she's a great DPS character, really strong, but not per se a must pull by any means. She's just awesome, honestly, just a fun option to potentially consider. But do let me know in the comments if you guys are gonna go for her, or if you're maybe gonna save for 2.5 or even the later half of 2.4. And I hope all of you did enjoy this fun showcase. If you did, make sure to subscribe, leave a like to support the video, and I hope to see you all next time. Peace.